Well, hello, my paranormal peeps. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the founder and lead investigator with Deep Woods Paranormal. I'm also the host of this podcast, Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. And I just give a little bit of history on Amanda and I, where we got into the paranormal and everything. We got into the paranormal when we first met. I was 19, she was 18, and I was a little off, if you will. Back in the day, back in the early 90s, people just didn't talk about the paranormal at all. But I was all about it. I was all about going to different locations and investigating and doing all kinds of cool things like that. So anyways, yeah, she and I have been investigating the paranormal for close to 30 years, mainly ghosts. I've been researching Bigfoots and cryptid creatures for about 15 years now, going on 15 years. So we have some experience. Amanda and I, before we even met, we had our own personal experiences with ghosts and stuff like that. We kind of lived with different ghosts. And then as she kind of moved in with me and kind of became part of my life and finally, thank God, married me, we basically had ghosts everywhere we lived. And everybody just blames me. It's you. You're the one creating all these ghosts. You're the ones drawing them. But anyways, speaking of ghosts. All right. So the other day on Saturday, we had a live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. You can see the two little dolls right behind me. It's opposite. Right behind me, we had a spirit box session with them and along with the K2s. If you want to watch that, it's on our YouTube channel, Deep Woods Paranormal. And essentially what happened was the K2s lit up. The one right here, this one here, Amanda calls her the creepy doll. She's got more of a kind of creepy face. And, I feel bad for her. I don't think she's really that creepy. She has some kind of energy to them. Both dolls have some kind of energy to them. Or maybe they have something attached to them. Or maybe they are haunted. At this point in time, you can't really say they are or they aren't haunted. But we're going to continue to communicate with them, use them either as props or use them to try and communicate with the little kids that may be attached to them or may not be attached to them, because the kids seem to like the dolls. They also seem to like to communicate when I'm doing EVP sessions or spirit box sessions or even just doing a podcast here. So what happened? I put the dolls on a tray right next to me on my left side. And essentially what happened was I set some K2s in front of them. I set the spirit box down and I completely forgot to put an EM pump. Spirits really like those EM pumps. I've had way more activity when there's EM pumps going than when I haven't had them on. The hotel that we investigated down in Galveston, you can go watch that show on your YouTube channel too. First night, we were there 2 nights in a row. First night, absolutely almost no activity. Actually, we think we were there 3 nights. That was a Friday night. Very little activity. Saturday, we had a little bit more activity, but not a lot. Nothing you could say, okay, Matt, this place is haunted. And then Sunday, we put them out. We put the EM pumps out. I think I put 8 of them out or something like that throughout the 3 floors. This place is huge. And it's abandoned. But we had permission to be there. And essentially, the activity went nuts. We got all kinds of spirit box hits, which we had gotten none previously. Nothing we could understand. It wasn't just like a quick bit, you know how the spirit box is if you've ever listened to one. It was actually clear voices coming through the spirit box talking to us. I wasn't able to hear a lot of what they were saying. I had different hearing aids at that point in time. They weren't nearly the quality of these, but anyways. Okay, so during our spirit box session with the dolls here in the office. This is the Deep Woods office. If you're looking behind me, we have a lot of Star Wars stuff. We have a lot of Bigfoot stuff and other stuff throughout the office. We had about 5 or 6 spirits that came through. I believe there was at least 3 little kids. There was a male entity, and then there was a Spanish entity. He was speaking Spanish and couldn't quite understand him. If you want to go back and watch the live on either our YouTube channel or Facebook channel, go for it. Maybe you can listen to some of that, but there was a lot of things that came through. Also, I do the Deep Woods Survival podcast now. Actually, I was doing that out in the dining room, and I need to go back and watch that video. But something walks to, almost like behind me, and just I didn't even see it until I reviewed the video. I was like, wait, what? So I need to go back to the actual raw video and watch that again and see what that was, because there's no cars that come by on that side of the house. There's no reflections. There's no nothing. There's no shadows that come across, especially that fast. This looked like it was a light. So if you've watched that video, let me know. That's on our Deep Woods Survival podcast channel over on YouTube. And then also we have a podcast for that. But anyways, if you listen to that or watch that, let me know if you hear or see anything. I got to go back through that too. Something interesting that did happen, the word demon came through. I don't know if I caught it on the live stream or not, but I immediately told whatever negative entity was here that they essentially needed to leave. They needed to go, and they weren't welcome here, and that you're not allowed in my house. The rules are for the spirits that are here, they can stay in this office. They have to behave. They can't scare anybody or any animals. Can't hurt anybody. They can't do anything. They can't like slam doors, anything negative. Now, if they want our attention and they want to move something, that's great. Go for it. That doesn't count the other jerk that spirit follows me around that knocks crap out of my hands and stuff like that. That's not the kids that are in here. But we do allow, I think there's 3 or 4 spirits, little kid spirits. And so 2 of them possibly are attached to the dolls, 1 each or more. There might be more spirits attached to those dolls. I don't know. There might not be any. At this point we're still trying to figure out if they're haunted or not, or if they just have energy to them, or is something drawn to them. So that's basically why we keep doing these videos with the dolls. Anyways, so talking about the kids, Wendy is a little girl. She's I believe she's 12 or 13. I used to do the ghost tour down in Bryan, downtown Bryan. A friend of mine basically does the tours, and I help her out as much as I can because I want to see that go. If you're interested in going on a tour, I think she's going to start back up here in October. We're going to be doing our own thing at that old haunted town. If you've seen that on our YouTube channel, there's a jail, there's a schoolhouse, there's a post office, and then there's the old train depot, and there's a couple other buildings on the property. And then over 300 people have been hung, or more, maybe more, almost 400 from trees on that land. So it's basically a old historical ghost town, essentially, was what it is. And they've come in and they've tried to restore it as best they can. They try and keep it up. So anyways, if you're interested in that, we'll be doing that here in the next, hopefully the next couple months. We're in the process of setting that up. So, okay, so Wendy, like I said, she's a 12 to 13-year-old. She came with me from Bryan. The only reason I allowed her to come with me was because she had communicated with me multiple times. I never felt threatened. She always was polite, and she was always begging to go home with me. One night after a tour, I went to get in my car and like to use the spirit box. I think she learned from using the spirit box because she was one of the clearer voices that would come through the spirit box. Basically, all of a sudden you hear, "Go home," a female voice. Now, my little car, I have a little red Jeep um, that I'm pretty sure some little old lady or little old man owned. Um, and it does have energy as well to it. I've had multiple voices come through the radio. Even when it said no satellite connection, voices have come through the radio. So something that does like to communicate with me. I call my little car Little Red. Anyways, so Wendy supposedly came through the speakers of my car, and I said, no, 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 you can't come home with me. Well, on the last tour I did, before they shut down for the summer, I basically told Wendy she could come home with me if she wants to. Now, downtown Bryan is less than a mile away. There's a theory that spirits can project themselves from one place to another. All they have to do is, if you think about them or whatever, if you create some kind of energy towards them, they possibly could come to your area and be there. A lot of the times, like if you've ever seen Ghost Adventures, where they get, where they do the dual sessions where they're at the Bobby Mackey's bar in Nevada, but they're at a different location, and they get EVPs coming across over in Bobby Mackey's saying Zach or whoever, but yet they're not there. So actually, that happens to me a lot too. I get calls from other teams, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. They get the EVP of Matt Harvey. After we've investigated, maybe they've come in behind us or whatever. Another thing that happened during the lives was, if you look out in the hallway there, right where that little nightlight is, there was shadows, little shadows, only I would say a couple feet lower than the painting. So child size, maybe a 12 or 13-year-old size, were darting around back over there. And I didn't even realize until I watched back on the live. I just saw a shadow back there a minute ago. So if you're watching the video podcast, feel free to let me know if you see anything. Now, we have 4 dogs. We have 2 cats. There's a cat laying on the couch behind me. His name's Mr. Moo. He's a black cat with green eyes. Just sweetheart. Super cool cat. Anyways. Okay, so the other kids, where do they come from? I'm just answering your guys' questions, by the way. Where did the other kids come from? Who are they? We cleared a home. I don't even want to say it. It's close to Bryan, over here. And we told the little kids, if you don't want to cross over and you're just not ready to go, the owner was okay with them staying. Or I said, you can come home with me. And because they weren't doing anything, they were just being little kids, being kind of rambunctious, doing silly things that little kids do, playful and stuff like that. So I said they were welcome to come home with me if they want to. Now, again, they may not have come home with me, or they may have come home with me. They might be projecting back and forth from the 2 locations. I don't know. That's something that we need to continue to research and figure out if that's actually possible. The more science does the testing on these kind of theories, the more we're learning about, yes, that is possible. So, all right. Why did I bring home the kids? Well, like I said, Wendy was not a threat. I had numerous encounters with her. She was unhappy where she was. She begged me multiple times. Something just messed with my hearing aids. Begged me multiple times to come home with me. And so finally I said, okay, on that last tour about 3 or 4 months ago. So the little kids at this other location, again, we had frequented that location multiple times. They'd come through the spirit box. There was nothing threatening. I didn't want to leave them there because they were disrupting the homeowner's ability to do her normal thing. And so I said, hey, you're welcome to come on with us because we've got dogs, we've got cats. You can play in the office, and just hang out. Again, they're only relegated to this office. I don't ever say, when I talk to them, I say, okay, you can come home with me, and I don't think I'm going to bring anything else home with me unless it's a severe case. But I always tell them they're allowed in the office only. If they want to check out the rest of the house, that's okay, but they need to be quiet. They can't show themselves. What was that? Speaking of showing yourself, so something may have materialized in the doorway behind me real quickly. There was some kind of white misty thing I think I just saw. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, they're allowed to cruise around the house. Um, as long as, like I said, they don't scare anybody, they don't hurt anybody, they don't show themselves, they don't make their presence known. In here, I don't care if they make their presence known. If they want to, get my attention, then I'm happy to pay attention to them. But the rest of the house is off limits, essentially. And so last night, I don't know who it was. We had somebody, and it was very uncomfortable. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but somebody came walking into our bedroom, and I could hear them walking, and I have crappy hearing. I can hear their footsteps, do 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 do, and we don't have hardwood floors. We have vinyl floors, so this is heavy duty vinyl because the dogs can't scratch it up. It's supposed to be better than hardwood floors. It costs about the same. So yeah, essentially something walked around the room. And I was tired. I didn't want to get up and deal with it. I'm like, no, I don't know if the whole intent was to scare or what. I know it wasn't any of our entities that we have here. So, oh, and there's one other entity. I've talked about her multiple times, but there's an Indian woman here that seems to kind of hang out. In fact, on the spirit box session, we had language come through that sounded like Native American Indians. So that was probably the sixth spirit. So 4 little kids, the male entity that was speaking Spanish, and then there was another entity, and it sounded like it was male, but it sounded like it was speaking like Indian. I mean, it just didn't sound like Mexican. Okay. How do I know they're kids? Their energy. I've been experiencing paranormal since I was a little kid, since I was just a baby. But I've, over the years, I've essentially picked up on what types of energy or what, you might see me on investigation, put my hand out like this or put my hand in like this to see what's going on, see if I can feel the energy, like the static energy in the air. A lot of the times when you come across a spirit, and I don't know if it's just me or maybe other people can do it too, but I can put my hand into them and feel who I just got static down my arm and feel who they are. And I think there's something standing to my right ear. So maybe one of the little kids. It's not very tall. It's probably about halfway up my forearm. But anyways, so yeah, I can stick my hand into their energy, and then it's almost like telekinesis. Oops. I get information on who they possibly are. And sometimes they'll communicate with me and just put thoughts in my head and tell me that I'm a little kid and, this amount of years old. Now, I don't trust that. I want answers through the spirit box, through EVP sessions. If they want to leave an EVP on or disembodied voice on our video camera, anything, or we can, if they just want to communicate disembodied voice where we can actually physically hear them answer, that's what we want. We want something tangible where we can say, okay, 3 people heard the same thing. If it's a disembodied voice, or we want something on audio that we can either record the spirit box or record an EVP session, and we can actually listen through. When I ask a question, I gave enough time for whatever it was to answer, and they answered, intelligently. That's what we're looking for. That's kind of what we're shooting for. So yeah, I mean, I've talked to these little kids before. We've picked them up on spirit box before, and stuff like that. Otherwise, I would kick them out. They wouldn't be allowed here. But they have nowhere else to go. They're essentially orphans. They don't want to cross. If you're, if you're religious, they don't want to be quiet. They want attention, and it's excuse me, typical little kid. They want attention, and they like to play and whatever else. It's fine. I don't mind that at all. So that's how I know they're little kids. They're playful. I've been around enough negative energy to know what is a negative energy. I know they try and disguise themselves a lot, and I've done this. I've been through so many homes with demonic haunts and removed so many entities that now at this point they can't hide from me anymore. I mean, it's just to the point where I know. Sometimes they're able to, but very rarely. Sometimes I'll get a second opinion on a case and ask somebody to come in and just walk around and tell me what their impressions are. But anyways, all right. So people are asking, will you do more live investigations in the future? Yes, we will definitely do more lives. I think we'll probably do more lives with a doll. People really like that. Thank you guys so much for watching our lives and supporting that. Maybe on the weekends we'll try and do that. I've been a little bit under the weather for the last week. Just over a week now. So I'm trying to get better. I don't want to go out into the field and do Bigfoot research when it's 100 and some odd degrees out. And it's like 90 some odd degrees out at midnight when I'm not feeling good. So because it'll just drain me so fast. I won't be able to do much, and it won't be a very good, very interesting show. Let's put it that way. So we want to make sure you guys are getting the best quality podcast, shows, documentaries, whatever we're doing. We want to make sure you guys we're doing the best we can to make you guys like what we're putting out. Speaking of that, if there's content you want us to talk about on the podcast, if there's somewhere you think we should go in Texas, right now we can't travel outside of Texas just because money's a little tight, but in the future, we're going to be able to. We just, with the business coming on board now, we're going to have some money coming in from that, and then we're going to start using that to travel, maybe back outside of Texas again. And just know that Amanda and I've traveled throughout the world, and we've done ghost hunting a lot of places: Ireland, Scotland, England, and then all throughout the whole U.S. I mean, I don't think there's too many states that we haven't done an investigation in. So, yeah, I mean, you guys have to tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Please be polite. Please be kind. Critical. I mean, what was the word I wanted to say? Feedback's always nice, even if it's not something you want to hear, but it teaches us how to become better at what we do. And so we just want to make sure, like I said, if you guys are wanting us to talk about a subject, or you wanting us to go out and check out this location or that location, we have a long list of locations that we want to go check out. There's an old wall somewhere. I don't know if it's on private property or not. I'm doing research on it, but it supposedly was there during the Civil War, and there was a battle or something that happened around it. And so it's said to be maybe not haunted, but there might be some energy. Maybe there's some spirits out there. Who knows? But I've got it written down. I'm going to look into it. Bigfoot research. Definitely want to return into that again. I want to go back to a couple locations that we've already been to. And then I want to go check out in some new areas that we have not been to. My friend's property up by where they live, they have some kind of Bigfoot activity that they were being stalked by a Bigfoot, essentially, probably the dominant male. So that's what's coming down the pike. We're going to be doing more investigations here in the next couple of weeks. We'll get some more investigations up on our YouTube channel. And then if you haven't gone over and listened to our Deepwood Survival podcast, or if you're into survival or camping, hiking, fishing, anything outdoors, prepping, please visit the Deep Woods survival page. I'll be linking that on here, so you guys can go check that out as well. And just like I said, let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you want to come on and be a guest, we'd love to have you. We're always looking for new guests. Sometimes those podcasts don't come out because people decide they don't want to have the podcast come out, but that's okay. That's called life. So yeah, if you guys have content you want us to publish, a person you think we should talk to, you witnessed something paranormal, or you lived in a haunted house or whatever. I mean, this is non-judgmental. We want this to be a free and open area. If you're sensitive, you're psychic, and you want to come on and talk about some of your ghost stories, we'd love to have you. So, all right, guys, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.